Welcome to the Jamaica Select Board for Monday, July 25th. Call for any late additions to the agenda.
I just wanted to clarify a little bit, not a new item, but item number 4 should be a little bit more specific. To approve the final draft of hearing notice, set the hearing date and time, and the times for site visits, along with the proposed, for the proposed road trail discontinuance and reclassification. So just a little bit more detail. Make sure we all know what we're doing. And Sarah, I can send you that wording.
Thank you.
I thought I read that on the Jamaica Select Board site, but okay.
Yeah, I think I wasn't really, I didn't have a whole lot of those details, but there's a couple specific things that we need to actually do.
All right. Could I approve the minutes for the July 11th Select Board meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion about the
I
minutes?
have some little fiddly editorial. Sarah?
Hold on one second.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Under number 3 about the sheriff, vote on the new contract, not of. That's weird. And 5 with the bags with Esther has an H in it. And it shouldn't say no air in the bags, but circulating around the bag. Okay. And compostable bags, plural. And then number 6, this was actually kind of funny. It said we were talking about going into execute session, and I think we probably should say execute. A long night, right?
Yeah.
And anytime you mention the Apple TV, it should be a capital A, because it's
The what?
Apple TV, capital A for the company. That's it.
I did have a couple of things too. Ready for them?
Yes.
Item number 8, where it says Charlie on the traffic ordinance. Charlie offered to work on this independently, not that the planning commission declined, it's just that Charlie took the bull by the horns and said he'd do it himself. So Scratch has been working on this alone, and the planning commission declined to help and replace it with offered to work on this independently. I think is a little bit more accurate to what was going on there. And then at the end of the meeting, just some specifics when we came out of executive session at 8:45, no decision made. And then item 9 was tabled regarding the discussion of the ARPA funds was tabled to this meeting. Our meeting then adjourned at 8:48.
Okay.
So I need to move it with the...
I will, I'm gonna hold it.
Okay.
I was just looking to see if there are, okay. So, you guys have made the motion, you accepted the amended, corrected minutes.
I'll second that motion.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion on the July 11th minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? All right, the third one is an update from the Jamaica Area Bike Association.
Awesome, thank you. My name is Heidi Pancake. I'm the chairperson of the Jamaica Area Mountain Bike Alliance.
Right?
Thank you for having us tonight. We are a chapter of the Vermont Mountain Bike Association. We're a nonprofit, and Dave is our secretary. Karen is our vice chair, and Dave's going to tell everyone a little bit more about the organization.
Thanks. We formed in late 2019 initially to establish mountain bike trails in Jamaica State Park. We met with the regional parks director for this region, Ethan Phelps, and he encouraged us to go forward with submitting a pre-proposal, which we did, and they approved, and it was for the establishment of 3 different trails in the park, 2 of which they green-lighted to investigate the opportunity to do so further. We met with them last summer and walked some parts of the park, and they're currently working on some internal policy decisions regarding recreation in natural areas, because a good portion of one of the parcels that makes up Jamaica State Park is part of the expanded Hamilton Falls natural area. So that's a bit of a wrinkle that's causing a little bit of a delay in our plans. Additionally, for public land, we have entered into what's called a challenge partnership agreement with the Army Corps of Engineers to establish trails at Bald Mountain Lake. 2 different trails totaling about a mile. We have hired a professional trail building organization based in Poultney, Vermont, specifically Hardy Avery and Catherine Maloney. They have built a lot of trails in Vermont and in the area, specifically mountain bike trails. And he will begin designing those trails this coming Wednesday. So we're in fundraising efforts for that. At this point, it is yet to be determined whether it will be entirely volunteer built or whether it will be a mixture of volunteer built and hand built by the Sustainable Trail Works trail building crew. Additionally, we met with the Winhall Select Board at their last Select Board meeting to request permission to scout the Winhall Municipal Forest on the western boundary of Jamaica. It's about 509 acres for potential in Jamaica, but overseen by Winhall. And they supported our request to work specifically with the Windham County Forester, Sam Schnesky, and interested parties both in Winhall and the area. We have a member of our organization who is a Winhall resident who is spearheading that effort, and he's been in touch with Sam Schnesky so far. So that's in its very early stages. We are going to meet to start looking at the land next week, I think.
On the 13th.
Yep. So we're proceeding with that. And then additionally, we have some private landowner agreements with some Jamaica residents to bring back and sort of expand a trail that Ken Quarry had built on his land, which is mostly now on Suzanne Sylvester's land and then adjacent land. So we're in the early stages of kind of bringing that back, making it more rideable, more enjoyable to a wider range of riders. It's got some pretty steep technical sections, so that's and then we're also in touch with some different landowners in the area about additional trails on their land. Our mission and statement, I think, is relevant to this. Just wanted to read it to you. The Jamaica Area Mountain Bike Alliance seeks to create and steward a sustainable network of trails for human-powered use that supports community health, economic development, and outdoor recreation opportunities based in Jamaica, Vermont, and connecting our neighboring communities. So basically just wanted to tell you what we've been up to and what we're hoping to do, and make sure that we're keeping everybody in the loop. We welcome anybody's interest or input on any aspect of this. It's pretty exciting. We're looking forward to getting some pretty cool trails in the area. There are 29, I think, chapters of the Vermont Mountain Bike Association, and at this point, I think the state of Vermont has the distinction of having the highest percentage of residents who are actually members of a mountain bike organization. I think it's what the percentage point is, but it's by far more than any other state. So it's growing by leaps and bounds in Vermont. You've probably heard of different trail networks in different parts of the state, but southern Vermont is kind of underserved at this point. So we're really looking to drive as little as possible to have access to some great trails. So.
Do you guys have a website where the trails are kind of a map or something, or
We don't
are you still
have-
working on that?
Yeah, we don't have a map up, but we do have a website, jambavermont.org.
Okay.
JAMBAVT.org.
Yeah, sorry, JAMBA.
So it's JAMBAVT.org.
But it's something you'll have, hopefully, a map or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Once you get everything situated.
Yeah, and we actually obtained 2 different grants for one for the Bald Mountain Lake project that is called a VEMBA naming grant that the Vermont Country Store sponsored. And then we also obtained what's called a VEMBA Trails grant for the Ken Quarry Trail. So we've had some funding through our parent organization and interested parties who are supporting that effort in Vermont. So that's pretty much the story. I most recently was reading the Jamaica Planning Commission's report and recommendation for reclassification and discontinuance of town highways and legal trails. So that's of great interest to us because in the interest of trying to establish a network of trails, definitely public access, whether it's class 4 highways or legal trails, is of great interest in attempting to tie different routes together because it's unlikely that we could hope that one day we'd have a whole bunch of interconnected pieces of what we call single track mountain bike trails, but it's certainly in the short term to link everything together. Legal trails and town highways are of great interest, so.
And connectivity between towns.
Yep. So.
I was gonna ask you that, if you use a lot of town trails. And, something to think about when we get to that, it's like, it's not the only use, is people coming and asking to use mountain bikes. I mean, when we look at that, a lot of people may use those trails for a lot of things.
Absolutely.
And if you start, I'll talk about that when we get to that, but I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to ask.
There are a lot of gravel bike cyclists who use as many class 4 roads as they can to connect routes.
So the Turkey Mountain Road question, both the possible reclassification of the existing class 3 road and also even possibly discontinuing LT10 and then LT11 in adjacently, those are of great interest to us. Partly because Jamaica State Park, the pre-proposal that we submitted, if such a trail were to be built as we originally envisioned it, it would very likely, it would certainly benefit from public access to the top of Turkey Mountain Road. So it's definitely on our radar.
Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you
for having us.
very much. We've had a really great response from folks. One of the greatest parts of the experience so far is getting to know people in the area that we have not yet met or that we haven't known that well. So it's pretty cool. And then working with the Corps of Engineers in the state has been very enlightening as well. So.
Nice way to put it.
And are you all aware of the municipal forest that the town of Winhall owns? It's
Where is that?
509 acres. It's in Jamaica that the town of Winhall owns.
The address is 35-37 Wheeler Woods, so basically Dalewood. That is one of the access points, and then the other, from the other side would be more Taylor Hill area.
Okay.
There's that big chunk that you can see, not the USFS piece on that far map on the far right, but it's that chunk.
It almost looks a little bit like Texas with the east and the west sides chopped off.
And there's about 40-something acres in Winhall that attaches to it also.
Yep, and it is in current use. It has been managed for forest products. So that was really why Stuart Coleman directed us to start with Sam Shinesky, the Windham County Forester. So, certainly there is the potential for it to be used for recreational purposes, but it has to be aligned with whatever the forest management plan is now and what it might be in the future. So.
And also aligned with other uses of the forest, of course, hunters. If we do end up having trails there, it would be closed during hunting season to respect all users of that forest.
Yep, and hikers would be definitely welcome to use these trails as well. So.
Thank you.
All right.
I think that covers it.
Okay. All right, number 4, set the hearing dates for road reclassifications. I guess I'll let Greg talk about that.
Sure, yeah, and then, the more specific too, we need to set as I stated before, basically, we have a site visit that each of the roads or trails is required to have a warrant site visit. We do need it basically is a public meeting, just like the regular board meetings are. We do need to have a quorum, have a warrant, etc. The thinking is that there's kind of 2 distinct groupings of these roads. They all get evaluated and decided on independently, but there's a couple of separate groupings of these roads, and just from a logistical purpose to coordinate site visits, proposing as a recommendation of the, the Plan Commission's been involved in this too, but proposing that we do the site visits in 2 groups and then reconvene in the evening. I'm suggesting 7 o'clock, like our normal meeting time. So we basically meet at the end of Turkey Mountain Road, where a couple of trail segments and road segments there are being proposed to change. We then would adjourn from up there, reconvene, or not necessarily adjourn, but reconvening down at Howard Road, which is down in East Jamaica. We would take a break for lunch, so to speak, but also to kind of make sure that we're staying in alignment with our timing. Go up to, I'm forgetting the name of the road now, but up near Dalewood, there's one short section, Hollow Road, and then continue on to Blake Road, which is off of the West Jamaica Road. So each one of those roads has unique situation going on. There'll be people there. As an example, there'll be someone there from the state regarding the discussion on Turkey Mountain Road and the state parklands up there. So what we need to do tonight is just to confirm that we've set a time and a date. I've thrown out there and proposed 2 different days. We need to have 30 days after this meeting if we accept this motion, that it needs to be at least 30 days after this. Public warning needs to go out to all of the adjacent landowners. And so I'm suggesting early part of September. I've just arbitrarily picked 2 dates on the schedule, midweek days, that we convene at 9:30 in the morning on Turkey Mountain Road, and then reconvene for Howard Road at 11, take a break, meet then at the town office. Just it's a little easier to find. Hollow Road, it's an unmarked road basically, and then continue there over to Blake Road, and then have our formal hearing at 7 o'clock in that evening. So the 2 days I'm proposing, and then again it's open for discussion, would be Wednesday, September 7th, or Tuesday, September 13th.
We need 3 people, 3 board members?
3 people at each one of those locations. So there's 4 total locations. And then we would need a quorum again at 7 p.m. And obviously it would make sense that anybody that attended any of the other visits would be at the actual 7 o'clock meeting.
Well, I'm gone those 2 weeks. Completely, not even one day am I here. But
okay, well that's perfectly fine, and we can propose something the following week after that.
In case someone else is gone those 2 weeks.
I'm going on the 7th. I'm here on the 13th, which would be fine.
And I can't do the 13th because I work, so
I can do either one.
I could do the 7th.
So in the interest of attempting to get all of us there, I mean, it's not absolutely required, but I think it'd be great because we've got varying opinions on these things. Then let's propose Tuesday the 20th.
I can't do Tuesdays.
Okay, Wednesday the 21st.
August? No, so this is September?
September.
Yeah. Okay. That works for me. I mean, I can do some of them. I don't know if I can do them all, but I can do some.
I can do the 21st.
Me too.
Okay. And I think not everybody's necessary at each of the 4 site visits, but if you're attending at least one of the site visits, to then hopefully be able to make the 7 o'clock evening meeting.
Okay.
So does it feel like we have consensus that the 21st is going to be a good day, Wednesday?
Sure, you want a motion?
I do have a motion that's been, Charlie assisted with me drafting a motion, so I do have a motion to read. So I move to approve the final draft as distributed to the board members prior to today's meeting of the Town of Jamaica Notice of Hearing regarding the reclassification and discontinuance of highways and legal trails in Jamaica, Vermont, as written, and to set the date for the site visits and public hearings as Wednesday, September 21st, 2022, and the time of the first site visit at 9:30 a.m., the time for the reconvened site visit in the afternoon at 1 p.m., and for the public hearing at the town office at 7 p.m.
Second.
Any discussion about all that? All those in favor of that motion? Say aye.
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 Any opposed? Anybody abstaining? All right, that motion passes.
Sarah, I can get all that to you formally too. If I think I may have sent it already, but I'll give it to you.
I got it.
Okay. And certainly everybody and as many people, obviously these are public meetings, we want to hear from the public as much as possible.
Public on all sides.
Exactly.
All right, thank you, Greg.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, number 5 is review and sign the municipal tax rate and review state education tax rate.
I believe Terry said she was going to put those into the
Yeah.
And I think it needs all of our signatures, Greg. So
Yeah.
I'm tomorrow morning on the way to work, so.
and I can sign on Wednesday. So basically, it needs our signature for the municipal rate. Terry has set that rate based on what the state figures are that she was given, and also how it needs to line up with our budget that we've already approved. The school rate, we really don't have any say in.
So the tax rate of 2.3726 for resident and 2.0474 for non-resident. That's what.
It went down from last year.
Can you say those again, Tom?
2.3726 for resident
Okay.
and 2.0474 for non-resident.
Thank you.
How did you get that?
Terry sent it. It's on the drive. Terry sent a link.
In the drive or aside from it?
It's in the drive. It's on the Google Drive. But she sent an email.
Still
That
see it.
At the
she
bottom.
sent an
Yeah.
email that said there's a bunch of new stuff. So I still got it.
We can send it on to Andy.
Oh,
No, you should have it.
have to sign it anyway, so.
So I'll make a motion that we accept the tax rate as proposed by Terry, treasurer, based on our budgets and spending rates.
I'll second.
Is there any more discussion about the tax rate? All those in favor? Say aye. Any opposed? No abstentions? Motion passes. All right, number 6 is review a proposal for a new office copier. And I read up on that. I've seen the proposals, but I think, if you don't mind me putting you on the spot,
I'll see.
Sarah may have some information
So
about that.
our copier ran out of toner 4 weeks ago tomorrow, and we cannot get more toner because our copier is 11 years old and the supply chain is terrible, and so we haven't had a copier for 4 weeks in the town office, and it's terrible. I got 5 plus 1 more quotes of different companies that can sell or lease us a copier. Terry thinks that leasing it would be the best option because it includes everything. And then every 3 to 4 years, we can just get a new copier and we don't have to have outdated technology. And I don't care what we get, I just want a copier. But I will say, 4 of them said they would give us a loaner machine until our new one came in because the supply chain is terrible, and they said it could be 2 to 3 months. So I definitely want to go with one of the places that will give us a loaner because we can't not have a copier anymore. It's absolutely terrible.
Who's the one that won't give us a loaner?
Well, Xerox said they'd look into it, but that's what we currently have, and I'm not gonna say anything else.
Was SimQuest one that would give you a loan?
Yes.
Is
Yep.
that the one that, I didn't see the other bid aside from these? Is
Yeah.
SimQuest the best?
We had them in Brookline and we had no issues with them.
I worked with them at previous jobs and at my current job with
And-
their printers, and they're great, and the Conoco units are great units.
And
So
the
I-
other thing that set them completely apart is every other place you pay a monthly thing plus per copy. SimQuest, it's unlimited. You can make as many copies as you
Okay.
want, so you don't have to worry about a little meter saying, oh, you owe us 0.007 cents every time you click that. It's just, nope, this is what you pay. There's no, oh, we went way over this month, so now we owe an
Okay.
extra $100 that
Okay.
wasn't budgeted for. So that's kind of why Terry and I thought this would be the best one.
Like I say, I've worked with them for a long time, 10, 15 years, and they've always been great.
Yeah.
So I would support that too.
Have we ever leased one before?
Not that I'm aware of.
It's always come up in
I mean, we
conversation.
can buy out, like they all gave me buyout prices,
Of
but
course, yeah.
it just,
Nah, I
at
don't-
this point, do we really want another copier sitting around the office? And I think SimQuest was one of the ones that would take our junk out, so we wouldn't
I
have another
believe that
junk
they do.
here.
Yeah, because I've done all that with them before.
Yeah,
where
and they
They've swapped
just,
everything out, they'll come in, bring new stuff in, their time response rate's pretty good. So,
I mean, all the places were very nice, but they're the ones who really stood out to me and to Terry, so that's kind of where our heads was at.
Well, I would take you three's advice or opinions on that and so we would just go with the SimQuest outfit, or is there one of these that, what needs to be in the motion?
Terry said she would like either the 3 or 4 year one. So if you see the month is next to it, the 36 month. So either of those is fine with her, and I don't really know anything. I just want a copier.
Do we need to actually make a motion, or was this an item for
I think-
discussion?
it's $4,000.
Is it?
Oh, yes, it was, that's right.
That's right.
So
Offer
it's a
something.
lease, it's just the
It's
month.
a lease, so it's a lease, it's 171. I would go,
Exactly.
I would
was
go with
thinking
4
within
years.
budget, so,
I think-
yeah.
printers
And I think the
last.
thing I would like to add is that we've kind of discussed this very specifically in our budgeting meetings, that our copier was becoming obsolete. So this is something that we've anticipated. It's not a surprise, and it certainly is within the budget when we've been knowing this is coming.
So do we need a motion, or do we just have to say, go ahead and buy it?
It's good procedure to,
Yeah.
I'd say, have a motion, I mean, because it is a large expenditure.
So I'll make a motion to authorize Sarah to contract with SimQuest for a 4-month lease on a copy. 4-year lease, I'm sorry, 48-month lease on a copier for the cost of $171.35 per month.
Second. Any more discussion about this? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any want to abstain? Thank you. That's great. Okay, now number 7, notification of proposed solar project for Tony Lane. August 22nd deadline for a comment period. I'm not familiar
I
with.
get that. The planning commission and the select board received notice that there was a project in motion to build a solar field at Tony Lane. It's behind where it's the
Right behind the truck park, right?
Behind the trail park and the ball fields. We haven't actually received formal notification other than an alert, so to speak, so I just wanted to put this on people's radar. The process that happens is that the planning commission receives notification also and makes a recommendation to the select board of whether or not they feel this is in fitting or in keeping with our town plan, all these other factors. From their initial review, I've heard that everything lines up, but they are voting and formalizing their recommendations to the select board at their next meeting, which is August 1st. So this will be an item on our agenda for August 8th. This was more of an awareness that we know it's coming. Also, people may have heard it on the street, so to speak. There is a representative from the solar company that's going to be will be attending the planning commission meeting. So any questions can be answered, and they will, if we want them, attend our meeting also on the 8th.
I was reading the proposal and it made me wonder, what is the process for homeowners who are near that site to have an opinion, or, I mean?
Yes, yeah, very, very good question. It is in a hearing, is it a hearing? Comment period. The comment period is open right now and closes on the 22nd. I don't know right off the top of my head where the link is on the State Public Service Board to go make comments there. I can find that and get that posted onto our website. So they are accepting comments from residents, surrounding landowners, whoever may want to make a comment on the project.
Okay.
So, yeah, in Act 250 proceedings, right, all the butters are formally noted, so those whose lands touch the lot. Everyone else is just given opportunity for notice and comment to attend the hearing. So it's actually quite easy to find. You put in the address of the property, and all the filings will pop up. If you have trouble, just let me know.
Maybe one landowner there, if it's where I think it is, but guess that will all come out in the comment period. Okay. All right, for number 8, discussion of using a portion of the ARPA money for hazard pay, would that be an executive session? So we'll just move along.
I do have one thing I wanted to add. Can I throw that in real quick?
Maybe.
If some people noticed, the website didn't have the minutes from the last meeting or the agenda for this meeting on it, and the reason is the website is currently broken and it's not allowing us to add documents to it. I've been working with GoDaddy. We actually got locked out of the GoDaddy website, so I'm trying to get access to that. The email and phone number with town office phone number, they're trying to text, which they can't, and the email was an SV cable, not an email, so I had to contact them, send them my driver's license, a whole bunch of stuff to try to get them to switch things over to my email address, and then once I can get in, then I can start troubleshooting what the problem is. But so right now, if you the site's up, you can go look at things, but there's not going to be any new posts, and there's not going to be any new documents put up there until we get this thing fixed. And I hope by the end of this week I can get it done, but I don't have access. I mean, they said 3 days. I did all this on Friday, so maybe by Wednesday I might be able to get in. But just want everyone to know. So if you're looking for stuff, that's why it's not
I
there.
wish you good luck, because SV cable, if there's a password and anything you've got, say your phone, say it was a Facebook account and it originated with a password from SV cable, good luck.
They won't do it, I know. So I'm trying to get a switch to my
Right.
JamaicaVermont.org account, but they want to make sure I'm not some guy just trying to steal the site. So, yeah,
I'll talk to you after the meeting. I could definitely commiserate with you.
Yeah.
Because it just goes to Comcast, anything about SV cable.
Tom, in addition to that, I know we had a little dialogue over the weekend, but is there a possibility that they can actually just post the minutes, post the agenda, just so we kind of stay at the level of compliance for the state?
We manage the site now. All I'm what I'm trying to do is get into the GoDaddy site. There's something called cPanel, which allows us to kind of look at the back end. I don't even know what the problem is, to be honest. It's just not, and in fact, it's not adding anything. Anytime you update a page, it gives this error. So it's not like, if you just go to edit a page, don't even change the page and click update, it gives this error. So there's some setting somewhere that I've got to try to figure out what it is. It said it was the upload file size, but that's not what it is, because I changed that and it didn't fix it when I was in the system. So I've been going on Google and but I'm not a pro. I have a friend of mine who is a WordPress pro. So worst comes to worst, I'll give him a call and he'll help me out.
And I can understand that they're just hosting it and it's our site to manage, but it sounds like it's not our problem, so to speak, that it's a technical issue on their side. That's what I keep coming back to. Anyways, you got it.
It's WordPress, though. I mean, it's not. They're not going to do anything with content, and perhaps I could call them and get some trouble. I mean, I could. That may be one option, is to call them and say, hey, what's going on here? Why am I getting this error? why are we getting this error? I don't know. I mean, it came out of the blue. I did update the site a couple weeks ago, but that shouldn't have caused that, so I have no idea. We'll get there when we get there. Just wanted to make everyone aware that the site is up and static, it's not changing, so once we get it fixed, Sarah can put things back up on there, so.
But you could still look at like the Zoom link for this
You
meeting
can,
and that kind of.
whatever was
Anything that was
already there, you
there,
can still
yeah, right, last
access.
week.
We just
Okay.
can't add new
Alright.
content at this point.
Nothing. We can upload files, we just can't change any of the posts or pages or menus, you just can't
Right.
change it. Every time you click change, it blows up, so. Frustrating. Okay, thank you.
Okay, number 9, review and approve timesheets for the town office, listers, highway, and transfer station. I had a chance to look at that at home, but I'll look at it again. We can sign those after the meeting. 10, review and approve pay orders. Do that after the meeting. How about public concerns? Yes, sir.
I have a public concern. Actually, I got 3 quick little items. If I may, I'll be fast. I apologize for not making last meeting, because apparently that was the only time I should have been here. There's a question about the cooler boxes. I think you posed a question about these cooler boxes. I should tell you that our EMC's Regional Emergency Management Committee, of which I'm the interim chair until they find some other more qualified, they did not recommend these things. I recommended it to them. I made a presentation to them. They're only $40 a piece, not 80. That we have to purchase extension cords, because the one that comes with it is fairly short, so they can go on a wall. The idea behind them was for people who would otherwise be in a cooling center, somebody who's having a medical condition, we could give them away. They're not expensive, but you set it on somebody's bedside, and in a really bad weather, it makes a big, huge difference. Okay, the other one, next question, separate topic. You guys said something about an executive session last week, and the way you entered it, you said it was executive session to discuss the dump plan and employee. Is the plan in the executive session, or just a conversation around the employee? Because I think if you're going to be talking about dump plan, which was on your agenda, the plan for running the dump would not go into executive session, I don't think, would it? Since it doesn't involve contracts, it doesn't involve employee identification issues.
It potentially could have. That information will come out later. We had to Jessica, would you like to discuss what, I mean, she's working on it,
I'm just curious, if somebody doesn't know what's going on, suddenly there's a new plan about it, and you go to executive session, it's like, huh?
we believe that
It was specifics of the plan the specifics of the plan were hinged on the personnel.
Right.
So it wasn't an overall plan for the dump that we were discussing. It was related to, I know that's what we talked about, but anyways, so.
So it was a plan, a personnel management plan, or an individual plan for an individual situation?
No, the current personnel was critical to the specifics of the plan that we were talking about. So that, therefore, we couldn't talk about the plan without talking, or vice versa, couldn't talk about the personnel without talking about the plan.
All right, so those of us who are out here who are just watching can rest assured that there's no major plans to change how we operate the transfer station in general.
No action was taken.
no action was taken.
So that should end that discussion right there. If you ask me, am I wrong about that?
No, we've had discussions, but there's no plans yet.
Okay. Number 3 in the series. You guys are talking about dump bags. Just from bringing back some corporate memory, when we were deciding how to do this years ago. The bags we're not using, the bags we are now using, are simpler to monitor than the towaways. Your attendant can see from across the way what's going on with the bags. You start changing the colors of bags or the kinds of bags. You start changing, have him or her collect tokens per item. I mean, he's got enough stuff to track up there as it is without adding more confusion. So part of our conversations way back when, and you may remember some of them, had to do with not only making it real clear to everybody what we're talking about, but also making it fairly simple for the attendant to be able to manage it when it gets busy and confusing around there. And I just want to throw that into the conversation. So I'd be in favor of leaving it as it is to keep it simple and to, let's just call it keeping it simple.
If I may, I spoke with Esther in Londonderry, and they checked all different sorts of ways of keeping track, and they came up with the token system. But the whole bag question, I believe, is moot because we have something like 20,000 bags at this point, so it's going to be a while before.
Yeah.
But, you know, a citizen besides myself came and said, why are we putting more plastic in the dump? So that's what generated this whole recent conversation.
We pretty much came up with the conclusion that there was no perfect answer, but we kind of opted for this one as the simplest to manage. The more options there are for the poor guy who's juggling all the people who show up at one time, makes it difficult, more likely for error, more likely for confusion. And I think we're gonna throw something in there. Yeah.
I don't think we proposed any kind of change, we were just listening to
We're gonna have discussions about it, but
any better bags. Remember the bags we were talking about, the biodegradable ones were like a huge expense.
Yeah, they
week.
go apart.
And, you know, a couple of board members looked into if anything had changed for the better concerning that aspect of it anyway. And we found out some other things, but
well, the
we're
other
not
piece-
changing anything, or
Yeah, I mean,
not right now.
Okay.
what the discussion was about too was response to citizens who said, we're unhappy with what you have. And that discussion was saying, well, how could we, I understand the simplicity, what you're saying, but how can we meet their needs and still, when we have all these bags, still continue to use the bags? So the discussion really centered around, we're not changing, if you want to continue to use the bags, continue using the bags. If you want to spend, it would cost people more because they'd have to buy their own bags and then buy tokens. If they want to do that, but they want to buy the biodegradable or whatever, then, you know, giving them the option to do it. But again, no decision was made to do that at this point.
Yeah, and that was just a discussion, you know, the transfer station. Got a couple people that are involved in that on the board, and, you know, transfer station needs some maintenance, that kind of thing. I don't want to get into that executive session or.
No, I'm just reflecting.
No, I remember.
Comments?
Believe me, I may have spoke to what you just said a little bit.
Yeah.
Look, to Paul's concern, before we make any, before we amend any way in which the transfer station is operating, we're gonna bring it to the board. It's gonna, you know what I mean? It'll be part of the natural, normal, required select board process. But as Paul said, there was an initial, personnel issue, specific personnel issue that just where some decisions needed to be discussed, and so we did.
You know, I can't speak for the whole board, but we appreciate people's concern about a couple of citizens about the plastic, but we're not hearing from all the rest of the people who don't have a problem with it. They never come and complain, or never come and ask anything. You know, so I'm just saying that on camera, that we understand, or I understand that some people are okay with the way things go, but we obviously will listen to, you know, any kind of suggestion. Or I think a couple of people looked in pretty deeply into some options as far as bags and other ways to, you know, and if we compost, I mean, what is garbage? What ends up there if we do everything the state of Vermont wants us to? An old pair of sneakers, or what makes it into the transfer station?
When you get a box of chicken, for instance, it's got this really
Plastic
smelly stuff that
Styrofoam?
absorbs the juice.
Okay.
That goes in as well as, the styrofoam, so you can't recycle it. And
Right.
it's not technically garbage, but, I mean, it's not technically, you can't compost it. It's garbage.
Okay.
Anyway.
Any other public? Yes?
The state of Vermont is shut down, if not all, but a lot of the COVID testing sites. So I ordered some last week. If anyone needs at-home COVID tests, we have a supply here. If you think you have COVID, please call ahead and we'll leave them outside for you. Please don't come into the office. Still trying to avoid it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes?
And I had sent to Sarah a list of people wanting to be involved with the Rossendale Schoolhouse. And you don't need to act on it tonight, but I think you need to appoint people at some point, so.
Maybe the next one.
And more people may come on, but those are the people so far who have expressed interest
I
in
think
wanting to
that's,
be involved with the Rossendale Schoolhouse.
it's great, but just getting it, maybe there'd be some more people, and I don't think, Greg, do you feel we should appoint these people right now, or do you want to wait till the next meeting?
Well, it doesn't probably matter. I think like Karen's comment, it's not so urgent. I honestly haven't even seen the list, so, but we can certainly share the list.
Right.
Karen, can I ask a question? Is there any needs that need to be addressed before the Rossendale group comes in? I know they come in mid-August or so.
There is the trap door in the center needs some work. I climbed up a ladder, Pat was there, and we sort of repositioned it, but it's not terribly great. That's the only thing that really needs attention. The Rossendale Association goes in, I think August 13th, and they clean the building and get it all set up. They do a lot toward maintaining the building, and two of them, the organizers of that, are wanting to be on the committee, which is nice.
Okay. Is that it from the public?
All right, I move to find that premature general public knowledge of the discussion using portions of ARPA money for hazard pay would clearly place the town at substantial disadvantage because select board would be discussing salary and such if it discusses said ARPA money for hazard pay in public.
Second.
Is there discussion about that? We're just going with
We have to vote on that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye. I move that we enter into executive session to discuss using the portion of ARPA money for hazard pay under the provisions of Title I, Section 313A1A of the Vermont statutes.
That doesn't take long, too.
That takes a vote too.
All in favor of that? Any opposed? We're out of executive
We're out of
session.
executive session.
Anyone got anything
You
else?
have to say no, we didn't make
Well,
any
We
decision.
didn't make any decisions on what we went into executive session for. Have a motion in front of me. We made no decisions on that, so.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.